So there is an oral history at The Athletic of the pursuit of Peyton Manning once he was released by the Colts in 2012. A lot of teams were interested. He obviously landed with the Denver Broncos. But one of the things in the article that caught my attention, John Elway, who is the GM of the Broncos and successfully landed Peyton Manning, he told Mike Shanahan, who was coach in Washington at the time, that Elway believed Manning preferred going to Washington over Denver. And it was the trade that was made while all of this was happening. And it's almost like Daniel Snyder knew the only way to stop this from happening is to move up in the draft and position himself to get Robert Griffin III. That is what derailed it. But we all thought he wants to stay out of the NFC. He doesn't want to compete with Eli. He wanted to go head-to-head with Eli twice per year, Chris.
Well, I think he was certainly thinking about it. My first thing is, you're right. I think Daniel Snyder kind of sabotaged the whole thing from happening and made a deal with the Rams to get the number 2 pick to put them in position to get RG3 without going through, I think, Mike Shanahan. So, I always had it like this, that the story was that Peyton Manning was at the Shanahan house when they read on the ticker that the Redskins had traded to get the number 2 pick. Now, yesterday's story and everything in The Athletic revealed that it was actually Manning was in town, so maybe I had my facts mixed up. But, I'm not shocked by that. I don't know if he ultimately would have pulled the trigger, but of course, hey, I know I'm biased and I know the Shanahan family and Mike and Kyle, but even for a guy like Peyton Manning, Mike and Kyle Shanahan are going to blow your socks off with what they say to you football-wise. And especially I can speak of Kyle. And I know Peyton referenced that in the article talking about he was really impressed with Kyle. Because even for a guy like Peyton Manning, I guarantee Kyle said some things during that meeting where he went, oh, that's a good idea. Whoa, I never thought about that on offense or whatever it may be. So I think he knew he was going to be in a position to succeed as a quarterback in Washington. But he made the right choice. And ultimately, do you really think he would have wanted to go and deal with his brother twice a year and have that type of thing? I don't know. I guess that's where I question it.
Well, the fact that it was even on the table tells me yes. Why do you got every team in the league practically chasing you? Why are you going to waste your time flirting with a team in your brother's division unless you're regarding them as a serious destination? Because this wasn't about leverage. This was about him making his choice, and once he made his choice, the contract fell together. This wasn't, well, they're offering me this, and they're offering me that. Who's giving me the best deal? He was making his choice, and it was implied, right? It was almost like you had to be pre-authorized to show up for the auction. Whoever came to the table understood it was going to be expensive. He's deciding who the buyer is going to be, and then we figure out what the price tag is. The way it's told in the story, and again, it's excellent, lengthy, a lot of great nuggets in there, including Jim Harbaugh asking David Cutcliffe's wife for a peanut butter and jelly sandwich because he didn't want to be rude because she offered them food. And it's like, hey, when my mom offers somebody food, you don't say yes, they get a little hurt. So he took a PB&J. But the way it went down, as Elway tells it, he was meeting with Peyton Manning when it came in that the trade had happened between Washington and the Rams to put Washington in position to get RG3.
Oh, okay,
and
right. There we go.
Elway gleaned from Peyton Manning's reaction, oh, my God, he really wanted to go there. And I think he detected from the other interactions that's what Peyton Manning wanted. And Peyton still met with the Shanahans the next day, even though the trade had already been done. And Mike said in the oral history at The Athletic that he thinks Peyton was disappointed by the fact that they had made that trade, and apparently Mike and Kyle were disappointed too.
Yeah, I think they, I can remember back to the time, and I remember Kyle, questioning a little like, hey, do you really think Peyton would come here, and play with Eli Manning, play against Eli twice a year and, kind of cancel each other out to that degree? I know they were certainly questioning that. But, I never had heard really Peyton's side of the story. And, yeah, again, I think playing for the Shanahans is quite appealing. It's hard to go back and find quarterbacks who haven't had unbelievable numbers and success, playing for Kyle. I mean, that's what he's done. And I think Peyton Manning probably realized that. But ultimately, man, he picked a really good one. I mean, he did. John Elway did a great job of getting some talent around him. That defense was there in place, and he found the right formula with Adam Gase to make an offense work, and they did some special things, going to 2 Super Bowls and winning one of them. So I don't think he could be too disappointed with the results.
Let's go alternate universe then.
Yeah.
Peyton Manning goes to Washington. They don't give up ultimately 3 first-round picks and a second-round pick to get RG3. What happens for Peyton Manning over the course of the next 4 years? Quickly.
Oh, I mean, I think the Redskins and Washington are a different team. I don't know. I'm not going to say they go to a Super Bowl, but they put up a lot of big numbers, and they're one of the best teams in the NFC for sure. I have no problem saying that.
What about the Shanahans? Do they stay longer than I think it was 2013?
Yeah, of course they do. I mean, that trade led to the start of the dysfunction in Washington. You know, they start letting Dan Snyder empowered RG3 to run the team. I mean, it's like he gave him part ownership. So, yeah, I mean, I think there's no doubt about that. That was the beginning of the end right there. So I think, yes, everything ends up a lot better for the Shanahan family if they get Peyton Manning down there.
Quick thought, too. If Daniel Snyder had become infatuated with Peyton Manning and had done the same thing, you just wonder how the balance of power would have been between Peyton and Mike and Kyle. And maybe they're eventually, it starts off great, but eventually Peyton decides he wants it a certain way. Mike and Kyle want it a different way, and there could have been some friction and dysfunction there. What about RG3? Where does he land? I mean, the Rams had the second overall pick, but they had Sam Bradford at the time. I wonder who would have jumped on RG3 in the 2012 draft.
Oh, I know. I need to go back and look, but I know there's got to be some other teams there in the top 5 that certainly were quarterback needy that would have took a chance on RG3, or not a chance. I mean, he was a slam dunk, no doubt about it. But no, yeah, I mean, maybe the Cleveland Browns don't take Trent Richardson and RG3's the quarterback there. That's the one pick I can remember. That would make sense. Anybody else jump out to you, Mike, as you're looking that up?
Yeah, no. I try to put myself back in the mindset of 2012, and it wasn't quite a Peyton Manning, Ryan Leaf debate, because in 1998, that was a closer discussion than people realize. But there were some. I remember Tony Dungy saying he'd take RG3 over Andrew Luck. I mean, there were people who firmly believed in RG3, as evidenced by the fact that Washington made the trade to get in place to get him. So the Browns ended up that year taking Brandon Weeden
late in the first, right?
Right now, but anyway, the Vikings had that third pick. I wonder if the Vikings would have considered taking him, but they had Christian Ponder the year before, so probably not. All right, what happens to Tebow? Real quickly. Tim Tebow stays with the Broncos if Peyton Manning goes to Washington, Chris.
I doubt it. I don't think so. I think John Elway was going to get him out of there no matter what, because I think he saw a ceiling to where that could go.
I think John Elway would have unretired and played quarterback in 2012 if he had to, if that meant getting rid of Tim Tebow.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.